From Wall Street to Main Street, this is Lalate.
It's a big evening of Evenings LA with incredible great details about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today. In this recording, we'll be going over that monthly stimulus check that the Democrats want you to have. But could there be more checks than we initially thought? I have the breaking news on this. Then the second part of this video, we'll be going over the two-path process and why the two-path process could be giving you other money on top of these stimulus checks. OMG. In the third part of this video, we go over calling the vote and why how the vote is called is more important than when they call the vote. You'll learn the breaking details and the exclusives you're only going to see on this channel. Then we turn to the exciting details of fifth stimulus, which heats up across the board. Another stimulus check and raising your benefits up lifetime. And finally, the viewers are getting thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, $12,000 for SNAP, $22,000 from this channel, $10,000 for rent. It's your night to get it as well. I'll explain to you all the incredible details in this recording. The toast was toasting this morning, and tonight we're all toasting because it's still sort of hot here in LA. But hopefully the weather settles down. It's a beautiful evening otherwise because you're here, and we're going to get to the news starting right now. Good evening, everybody. How are you doing? It's a beautiful night here in Santa Monica, California. Boy, what a night it is. But it's been a hot day, a little bit too hot. I hope it cools down. You know, generally July's not that bad here in LA, but boy, it's coming in like a Purple Hawk. In this recording, we're going to go over a lot of details. But first, how's the weather where you are? Jump in the live chat and tell me where you're tuning in from. And how's the weather? We have a lot of breaking news tonight, as you can tell. Fourth stimulus is going to heat up with a fourth stimulus check monthly, the Democrats represent. But now there's indications there could be maybe more checks, more months of checks than initially thought. OMG. Then we'll be turning to the surprise details about the two-path process, which started 2 weeks ago, and why there may actually be more money in there in addition to the stimulus checks than we initially thought. Wow, this is getting exciting. Then the third part of this video, we'll be going over calling the vote and why how the vote is called is much more important than when they call the vote. I'll explain the details. Finally, we'll be turned to fifth stimulus, which raise your benefits up with another stimulus check, and we'll be going over the big money that viewers continue to get, and it's your day to get it. Like Nisi got $22,000, you could be the next Nisi, and this is Lalate, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. What a day it has been. Subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. Also, like this video. Every like really helps. It also delivers free antipasta. And consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat and pinned comment. Coming right up after this video is Overnight's Crypto. But let's get right into the breaking news tonight. Very exciting. House bill, Senate proposal, both monthly stimulus checks. But could the House bill be giving you more checks than we had thought? No less than 4 days ago. This is all changing very quickly. Pandemic plus 1 year, and it's the word that starts with a P. Pandemic plus 1 year. From the House, monthly stimulus checks. Senate, July to December. Let's go to the payouts. Senate, monthly unknown. House, $1,000 a month after the first month of $2,000. But word on the street, the senators would pay you this. OMG. Wow. That's $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000 a person. Or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400 a person. But let's go over to the breaking news right here, which is this pandemic plus 1 year. It was just less than, 2 days ago? That we said, they're never going to say the pandemic's still going on. It's just going to be 1 year. Stimulus checks, which is $13,000 from the House Democrats. Well, here's what's going on. Warren Buffett came out yesterday said, the pandemic's not over. I told you yesterday that LA County has now reversed its mask mandate, saying that vaccinated people should voluntarily wear masks inside because of the pandemic's Delta variant. And now we're learning that A lot of travel is being restricted, and they think that the Delta variant will be absolutely on fire in a few weeks from now. So, with that, the House bill may not be $13,000. So, let's compare that to this from the Senate. I think you have an opinion, and it may be a different opinion than just 48 hours ago on this channel. Which one do you like? Let's vote House or Senate. Jump in the live chat right now. House or Senate, tell me where you're tuning in from, and how's the weather. Boy, I mean, things are just changing very quickly. Can you imagine pandemic versus 1 year checks? It just changes very quickly. Who gets these fourth stimulus check? Democrats want you to have one. So if you got a third stimulus check, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Single individual, 75,000 or less, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, 150,000 or less, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Double it. A family of four, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. The fourth stimulus check would not be income because it's not taxable. No, it's not taxable because it's not income. The fourth stimulus check would be the same amount for everyone across the board. And the fourth stimulus check is monthly. It's not a check that comes in waves. It's not a check you can wave at. So if you see the check at the surf shop tonight and it's trying to purchase a new surfboard, like the one behind me, and it's lying on the surfboard, don't say, "Hey, check, what are you doing on that surfboard? Are you dead?" A rude check, not a responding back. It's not a dead check. It's not a rude check. It's just a check. As one viewer said, "Check, come over here. Come over here. I'll take good care of you. Come over here." And there you go. The check is coming in the month of July. Those Democrats represent for the month of July, and the month of August for the month of August. And they represent the final vote will be by July 4th, but more about that final vote coming up later in this video. But there you go. That is the first of our three parts of our fourth stimulus check updated 2021 in this video. In the second part, we'll be going over the surprising details about why there may actually be other money that we never knew about in this fourth stimulus for you as well. And then the third part of this video, we'll be going over the voting process, which is the talk of the town, and how they call the vote is more important than the day they call the vote. But first, let's get a preview of the second half of this video. It's fifth stimulus, and it has another stimulus check in there. Oh boy. And it raises your benefits up. Oh boy. I have all the breaking news and the financial data that was released this morning that impacts this as well. Oh boy, it's a big broadcast. But first, let's get some money. And I gotta thank you. You have been killing it. If you're new to this channel, this is what we do here. I give viewers money. This is not a check tracking channel. This is a check cashing channel. When third stimulus passed, I told viewers, yeah, you got a $14 stimulus check, but you're entitled to potentially $14,000. And viewers understood that, and they started getting it. Nisi got $22,000. We learned yesterday that John got $12,000 for SNAP. We have people like Art who got 3 items. We have tons of viewers who are now getting $10,000 to $12,000 for rent, $5,000 to $7,000 in SNAP. Massive numbers. What's going on? Get that pen and paper ready. We're going to go over all the details right now. I'm going to show you where to get this big money and how you can get it right now. It's from third stimulus. And that's what I do on this channel. In fall of 2020, people needed money, and second stimulus was still not happening. It was the holidays, and I stepped up. I got viewers $250,000 of money, and that $250,000 of money was a saving grace for a lot of people, like Tyrone. Got $15,000 for his family of 4 out of Boston during the holidays. And I got $25 million for people for EIDL loans in spring and fall of last year, saving their businesses, their homes, and their rent, and also their employees' homes. Let's get that pen and paper ready, and let's go over that big money. We're going to go over rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and also homeowners utilities. And there's a lot of money. So if you reach out to one and it says, no, don't worry, reach out to the next. They have their own pot of money. So you got that pen and paper ready. And if it must be Crayola Crown, at least make sure it's blue. And I do not mean murdered blue, muddle blue, or teal blue. All right, here we go. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city house authority, your county hall, your county house authority, your state hall, your state house authority. And keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage assistance because of COVID. You're not going to say words they don't know, like stimulus or Mitch's mixtape drop date. They don't know. They don't really want to know. Do you want to know? No, my ears are already hurting thinking about it. You don't want to know. So you got to say the correct words. And congratulations to all the wonderful viewers who got this big money for rent. If you've got a money for any of these items, jump in the live chat. Even if you have before, jump in the live chat right now. Because every time you share, it inspires other viewers. Congratulations to Tim and Linda who got this big money. But the next pot of the money is wonderful. It's Snap. And yes, John got $12,000 from it. Gail got it for herself. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, her son, and her mom. What is it? It's SNAP. It is money for your food. How do you get it? Department of Agriculture. Reach out to Department of Agriculture. And it pays a lot of money. What is it for? It's for your food. How much does it pay? A family of four in Hawaii gets now upwards of $14,000 to $16,000 a year. Wow. Why so much money? Because of two wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. Wow. You're just doing an incredible job. I am just so proud of you. And that's how we get through these times, because ultimately, we're not tracking the day we're getting a check. We're cashing fortunes of checks. I mean, you've got these, jump in the live chat. And you're killing it. $16,000 for SNAP family of four in Hawaii. $5,000 for rent. That's 4 to 6 months of rent. I've been disproved on that a lot lately. People are getting $10,000, $12,000, and we're only 10 minutes as a video. But the check, you're not really killing it on that surfboard. You just sort of look like avocado toast, just sort of flat. But I got more money for you right now, and some money coming back from your states. The states have been ordered to return money back to you due to computer error. The states had overpaid you due to computer error and then asked to return the money back to you. But the federal government has ordered them to return the money to you. So when are you getting it? Well, that in a second. But first, where are you getting it? Direct deposit, the account you have on file with your state. When are you getting it? Reach out to your respective state and say, hi, state. I'd like to track where that check is due to computer error. And can you track it with a computer that actually works this time? And finally, your last pot of money is wonderful. It's the IRS refund for the unemployment of 2020. If you got this as well, jump in the live chat, because every time someone does, it inspires someone else. Tim got this, Cod got it, Margaret, and Michael. How much is it? Let's go over all the details. First, let's say you had $9,000 of total unemployment benefits. You paid $5,000 of total taxes. You're getting back $4,000, and the portion of the taxes on the unemployment was $4,000. Congratulations, you're getting back $4,000. When? This month. Where? Direct deposit, unless you didn't have that set up on your return. Otherwise, it's in the mail. Can you track it? Yeah, about 70% of the time you can. Go into irs.gov and do a transcript search. Username, password, and do a transcript search. And when you do it, about 70% of the time it works. It will reveal stuff that you never knew and some stuff that you really sort of don't want to know. It will reveal the tax return you file, the taxes you pay. It will reveal when Mitch looks to start his R&B career. It will reveal which cover song Mitch intends to sing off of Lil Wayne. And it'll finally reveal the date that you're getting back your refund check. And there you go. Can we top that? I just can't get out of that visual of Mitch doing Lil Wayne. Mitch Wheezy is the second part of your fourth stimulus check up to 2021, starting right now. Well, away we go. It's very important to understand that your fourth stimulus is in a better position than it was a week ago. A week ago, we had your fourth stimulus in a recon that had other stuff in there. And that other stuff was actually a week and a day before, up to last Wednesday. Your recon had a lot of stuff in there. And here's what's interesting. You're going to see this messaging over this video today, and it's all breaking news, and some of it's very exclusive to this channel, is that you're going to see that there was a clear timeline that was at play that you were not abreast to. I was not abreast to. We heard they were doing stuff, but we didn't know what. And now we see it all sort of adds up. Let's go over that timeline. So about 3 weeks ago, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer had been reaching out to the president, saying, the president, there's too much in the recon. We need to take some stuff out of the recon. And then finally, a week ago, last Wednesday, the president agreed with them. Let's take out some stuff. So what did they take out? They took out roads and bridges and put it in a spin-off series, Roads and Bridges, called Nash Bridges with Don Johnson. No, the other show. And that became its own show. By doing that, a couple things happened. One, the recon became smaller, obviously, because roads and bridges are out of it. Second, the recon became easier to pass because it was no longer so big. Number three, the recon got its own identity. And number four, the recon became very protected. Now, we did not realize those last two items until just a few days ago. We had seen about a week ago today where Jalapal and progressives were saying the president's thanking us for protecting the recon's progressive ideologies. And we never understood why you're protecting it, who needs to protect it from what do you need to protect it from. And Jalapal had said that the president thanked her for what she was doing to keep on giving that protection. And Shantz, Democrat out of Hawaii, progressive, said the president had said the progressive priorities in the recon are the president's own priorities. And we didn't know really what this meant at the time. Now we do know what it means. Once they got the roads and bridges out of the recon, the first major turnaround was suddenly the recon, which is Democratic, which is stimulus for you, got its own identity. Because suddenly everyone understood that the recon was always about you and your checks. Recon was always about you and your checks. And until they got the bipartisan spun off with roads and bridges, finally recon could get its own identity. And it did get its own identity. Within the last week, recon finally got its own identity, with people understanding that the recon was always about for stimulus, your checks, the president's checks for climate and electric vehicles and seniors and adults and medicine and a lot of progressive policies. And actually nothing to do with roads and bridges. What had happened was, over the last couple of weeks, because roads and bridges had previously been in recon, naysayers really had a field day with it. And they were saying, there's nothing in there except roads and bridges. Now, that was because there were roads and bridges in there, and it overshadowed your recon. Now that the roads and bridges are out of there, the naysayers have nothing to say. Oh, I can't stand this. They have nothing to say because the roads and bridges are not in there. They're staying alone. In fact, Mitch McConnell did us a service because he started to trash talk the recon and said, the recon is just Democratic wish list. Well, yeah, it is. Thank you. It's a lot of money for us. And there's a lot of socialism, a lot of checks for people, a lot of social welfare checks for people that are staying home. They need to not stay at home and too many checks. Thank you, Mitch. I appreciate it. Finally, he told the American people why people love the recon, because there was so much money in there for you and me. Finally, we had that identity. But in a way, was that attempt to sort of overshadow or hide out its identity plotted by the White House? What I'm saying is, we understood that the naysayers were saying all along, up till recently, that the recon was just roads and bridges and there was nothing else in the recon. But no one else really came out very vocal and said, yes, there is other stuff in there. Now that the roads and bridges are separated from it, now they are coming out vocal about it. Do you see something interesting here? You're going to see it later in this video. You're going to see it later in this video. Now we also see something else as well, and that is the protection of the recon. The protection of the recon is in full force because now the only things that are in the recon are progressive ideas. And the only thing that's being protected is the recon. The roads and bridges are no longer protected because they're by itself down the road. And in a way, it's like a fort. The fort of recon, F-O-R-T, in there is your checks and all the incredible other relief. And it's being protected by progressives. And progressives, ironically, were always protecting it all along. They didn't really care about roads and bridges. Did you ever see a progressive give you a quote about roads and bridges? They didn't care about roads and bridges. So, do you see a sort of trend going on? You'll see it more later in this video because I'll show you too, as it all sort of lines up, why roads and bridges was sort of like a title for something that really wasn't. Yes, you're going to see that in a second. All right, so how do we get to this wonderful spot? As Jalapal, Rich and Schumer and Larry saying, Chuck called the vote on the recon. Calling the vote on the recon was a letter also signed by 12 House Democrats, part of the 100-plus House Democrats, who had written the president a letter a week earlier saying, Mr. President, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Can we top that? We can. As 100-plus House Democrats, 7 House Democrats had written the president a letter directly saying, Mr. President, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in that fourth stimulus package. Wow, well, who are these people? They are on the House subcommittee who wrote your third stimulus check by recon. And now they ran your fourth stimulus check by recon. Oh my goodness. Who are these people? Well, they're on the House subcommittee that's solely and exclusively responsible for writing your stimulus checks by recon. You know something familiar that I'm saying a lot? Recon. Because guess what? Republicans don't write recon. Democrats write recon. And these people on the subcommittee that wrote the third stimulus recon early this year, they say they're writing the fourth stimulus recon now, and they say they're going to be writing the fifth stimulus recon later this year. Oh my goodness. They also wrote your first and second stimulus checks as well. More about these people later in this video. Oh my goodness, can we top that? We can. As the president, 2 weeks ago approximately now, went overseas and got signed into law a agreement which anchors for stimulus recon to the edge of the finish line, because now you don't have to have provisions about international corporate taxes in the recon. They're covered in the international agreement. Let me explain what went on here. Do you notice how the president and his recon concerns corporate taxes and not the bipartisan, which runs away from taxes? Yes. So that's what's going on here. The president set up a recon to be paid for by raising the U.S. corporate tax rate. But the president was worried that in raising the U.S. corporate tax rate, businesses may move overseas because the corporate tax rate is too high here. So he reached out to those other countries overseas and said, hey, raise your rates. And those countries said, yeah, okay, we'll tentatively do it. So the president reached out to his staffers and said, hey, staffers, can we bring them some potpourri in December and have them sign on the dotted line? Then the staffer said, Mr. President, we can bring them potpourri in June. Okay. So the president 2 weekends ago went overseas and got those countries to sign on the dotted line about the corporate taxes for international purposes, anchoring for stimulus to the edge of recon, for stimulus recon to the edge of the finish line. Because now the provisions about corporate international taxes are not needed into the recon, making it easier for the Democrats to pass a recon, because the provisions about international corporate taxes are no longer needed in the recon. OMG. Now that is wonderful news. Can we top that? Yes. As we go into the final and the most important part of this video, the fourth stimulus check third update, we will learn that the day they vote is not the key issue, it's how they vote. Here's a preview of what you need to know. If anyone says in the live chat, what day are they calling the vote? Here's what you need to know. You can call a vote any day you want. And guess what? You call it the wrong way, and you call it once, you're done. And it doesn't pass, you're done. No money for anyone. You can't call the vote the wrong way, because rushing the vote and calling it at any specific moment will result in the bill not passing. And once it doesn't pass a vote, it's done. Bye-bye. So why is calling the vote a particular way so critical? And why is suddenly everything lining up so perfectly just now? I'll have details which you're never going to see before until tonight's evening's LA broadcast. It's absolutely incredible. Stay with me. It's later in this video. But also in the later part of this video is fifth stimulus. It raises your benefits up a lifetime, plus gives you another stimulus check. But is there anything more wonderful than that? Yes, the volunteers. If you need help with rent, utilities, mortgage, assistance, and SNAP, reach out to the volunteers. Where are they? Where are you, volunteers? They're on the community page. Open the description of this video. Go down to the emoji of a house. Next to it says the community page. Click the link. It's news.la.com/community. It'll send you to the community page. There's a picture of some kitty cats on there. They're not the volunteers. Lower on the page are the volunteers. They're separated from Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. They can help you get rent, utilities, mortgage, or internet, or SNAP. If you're one of the viewers that are watching these people in the live chat saying the big money they got, and keep on posting whatever you got, keep on jumping the live chat, and you've tried and you can't get it, don't worry. The volunteers can help you get it. And I'll have more about that in 60 seconds from now when we're back with a huge finale about your fourth stimulus. Don't miss us. You're going to be shocked. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join Lalate Daily for the excitement of the new Lalate live daily. The excitement starts on mornings Lalate at 9 a.m. Home Lalate returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons Lalate at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on Lalate. And the excitement continues right now on Evenings Lalate as we go into the big part of this fourth stimulus check updated 2021 when we go over the voting process. This is the most critical part of this video, and you're going to see a revelation that is going to leave you speechless. OMG, it's absolutely wonderful news. But first, we're going to go over the fifth stimulus. And also, but first, subscribe. Hit that subscribe button right now. I want you part of this family. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. Next up, 1 million. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you. We're at 410,000 subscribers. Yes. Then also like this video. Every like helps. It also delivers a free piñata. It helps in the algorithm rankings. And consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Stay with this video right after this video is over. It'll send you into Overnight's Crypto. So a lot of breaking news that you need to know to start the evening. And boy, very fascinating stuff about fifth stimulus. The day started with the labor numbers released, and labor numbers revealed the following. Unemployment new claims lowest since the pandemic. These are new claims, but continuing claims were on the high end. These are people who had claims before and stayed on benefits. So that signals we need more stimulus. This signals we need more fifth stimulus. And what does fifth stimulus give you? Another stimulus check. Those House subcommittee members who wrote your third stimulus recon, claim they're writing your fourth stimulus recon right now, say they will be giving you a fifth stimulus recon check next year. This will be January 2020 and being called 2021 and being called for, 2022 and be called for a vote around December of this year, going for October or November, and then going to legislative drafting about September and October. Wonderful news. Next, the president dedicated $1 billion to Social Security Administration to ensure your benefits go out on time. This is fourth stimulus. This is fifth stimulus. This is monthly stimulus checks. If you're a viewer who had struggles to get your checks under third stimulus for benefits, this is a big sigh of relief. If you have not gotten your first, second, or third stimulus check, you must, 1, file a tax return, and 2, request the checks on the tax return. If you haven't done that, you need to do it and consult with a tax preparer. Well, let's turn to the big other part of fifth stimulus, which is just so incredibly big and bold tonight, which is the raising of monthly benefits a lifetime. Let's go over how this calculates and why the wonderful news across the board just keeps on getting better for this as well. Fifth stimulus involves that raising up of your benefits one big time, and then involves the applying of a new benchmark, which viewers now know. Then they'll remove the asset cap, remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. All right, let's go over how this works out and also the new stuff that you need to know. You've learned a lot from this fifth stimulus coverage because you have learned that your benefits are going to raise up one big time. This is you if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, SSA, multiple benefits, or Calcino benefits. You've learned that the new benchmark is inflation. You learned that the benchmark is applied in December for next year's benefits. And you learned that the inflation rate's going up. And in the last week, you've learned that Jay Powell, your head of the Federal Reserve, has indicated that inflation rate will hit its highest spot in December this year, right when they apply your benefits. Well, then what's left to be known? Number one, that they got to pass the bill. Well, that's sort of obvious. And number two, how high that inflation rate's going to be. This will be a topic of discussion for weeks to come, but it's still looking like about 10%, coming up from about 4% right now. Well, let's go use that example. This is how it would work. Your benefits would raise up and under fifth stimulus, and then they'll apply the benchmark, which will be, let's say, 10%, and that'll raise your benefits up another 10%. Not just next year, lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. Oh my goodness. Now that is wonderful news. So if next year the inflation rate is 2%, you'll be a plus 10 plus 2% next year. Wow. Then they're going to remove the asset cap dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't stay on benefits and also have more than $3,000 in hand. Oh, time to have some stimulus checks and a taco in this hand. They're going to remove the income cap dating back to a very old law that prevents you from staying on benefits and working. Now you'll be able to work if you wish. And they're going to get rid of the marriage penalty. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest. You'll no longer fear the marriage penalty. And viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married and no longer fear the implications of the marriage penalty. And there you go. That's your fifth stimulus. But boy, if you notice all those viewers on the live chat who are posting those comments about all the big money they're getting, $10,000, $12,000 for rent, $5,000 to $7,000 for SNAP, $3,000 for utilities, how are they doing it? They are becoming members. The membership link's at the top of the chat and pinned comment. Membership was launched on this channel when third stimulus became law, because I said to viewers, hey, you're going to get a $14 stimulus check, but you're qualified for tens of thousands of dollars. You need to get this money, and most of it's application-based, and you need to know what it is. So daily members are delivered from me the breakdown of everything in third stimulus for you to go get that money. So go get it. Become a member. It also includes daily information about what's in fourth stimulus and what's in fifth stimulus. And there you go. Which brings us to our big finale. And boy, this is a big finale of your fourth stimulus check update of 2021, starting right now, which goes over the voting process. If there's something you've learned throughout today's recordings are the big news, which is you don't want to just call the vote because you want to call the vote and get it done with, because if you call it the wrong way and it doesn't pass, you're done. You're toast. The toast is toasted. No, you'd be toasted. So you don't want to call it the wrong way. So I see there's always a person who wants to say, what day they're calling the vote. You don't want to ask what day they're calling the vote. That shows you don't understand the process. You want to ask how are they calling the vote, not when are they calling the vote. There's still time to get a stimulus check out in the month of July. So it's not a big issue whether you ask the question what day it is. The issue is you want to make sure you know how they call the vote. Here's what you need to know. Why is it so important how they call the vote? Because there's three ways to call the vote. One, calling the bipartisan before the recon. That's what the GOP, some members, want to do. What would happen if they call path number 2, bipartisan, for a vote before the recon? The recon is over. It's toast. It will never pass. Because that is the plot of the GOP. They've manifested. They've actually said it. The Democrats have said it back to them. You can't do that. It'll kill the recon will never pass. So what are the two ways the recon can pass? Calling the recon first for a vote, or calling the recon as a vote contiguously or at the same time as the bipartisan. Now, here's what you need to know, is that this is not a concern for you. Why? Because you're the only people who can determine when they call the vote for a recon, what day they're going to call it, what hour they're going to call it, even what are they going to call for a vote, are the Speaker of the House and your Majority Leader of the Senate. Two people, Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, determine under the Constitution when things are called for a vote and what's called for a vote. If they don't want to call something for a vote, they don't have to call for a vote. And what do they want to do? They want to call your recon for a vote first or contiguously at the same time with the bipartisan. That's not the issue. But so then what's the surprise? Well, you're going to see in this recording that there's new suggestions now that potentially this was all planned out beautifully by Pelosi, Jolopal, the president, and Schumer, and the caucus of the Democratic and Progressives over the last few weeks, because suddenly all the quotes are lining up from a few weeks ago. You're going to see over the next few quotes are going to run that everyone's referring to something of 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. What happened 2-3 weeks ago? Here's what you need to know. Do you notice that 3 weeks ago, everyone was saying, a lot of people were saying, well, the recon is all about roads and bridges. And Democrats didn't really want to come out and say, well, no, it's also about our stuff. And then they said, okay, get the roads and bridges out and put it over there. Now our recon is all our stuff because you've agreed to the roads and bridges. Well, guess what's happening? It is now very clear that by removing the roads and bridges, it made it easier for the Democrats to pass the recon. They gave the bipartisans the roads and bridges, but by taking the roads and bridges, the bipartisan, and spinning it off, it was a setup to make it easier to pass the recon. And now some would say that some Republicans don't even want to pass the bipartisan. Because why? The Democrats gave the Republicans something so that the Democrats can pass what they really wanted to really pass in the first place. Here's what you need to know. Is a new report that says that the Progressive Caucus has repeatedly told the White House that it's going as big as and bold as they want in the recon. Guess what? The president wants them to. Then Representative Ilhan Omar, Democrat of Minnesota, says, we have a commitment, the Democrat progressives, that regardless of what happens with the bipartisan, they will give us, our caucus, Democrats and progressives, they will give us recon that goes as far as we want. Yes. Now that the bipartisan stuff is out of the recon, the roads and bridges are out of the recon, now they can go as big and bold as they went on the recon. It was sort of like, here, take this bipartisan, take your roads and bridges. Now you've given me an e-ticket, a golden key to open the door and get recon passed. It's wonderful. And suddenly, the recon may have a lot more checks in there for other things for you than we had ever thought about, or even knew, or even told. Representative Richie Torres, Democrat out of New York, says that he's putting into the recon housing relief. What? I refuse to vote on any bill that does include these big provisions for recon. Oh my goodness. What are they doing? What they potentially have done is that they, over a few weeks ago, determined that the recon was too big. But the easiest way to pass the recon is spin off the bipartisan, give it to the GOP, say, here's your bipartisan, go vote on it. I mean, go kiss it. We're going to go finish our recon, and we're going to call our recon first. We're not going to be calling your bipartisan anytime soon for a vote first. No, it's never going to happen. We're going to call our recon. Guess what? Our recon can now get bigger, bolder, and more delicious because the roads and bridges, which are very costly, are out of there. Jalapal. Here you go. Here's another quote. Watch the date of this quote. We Democrats and progressives have an agenda accomplished, and linking the two bills is the only way to get accomplished. We did a poll of our members, caucus, Democrats and progressives, 10 days ago. This is a quote from Jalapal from this Monday. So it's not 10 days ago from today. It's now almost 12 days ago, 13 days ago, because this is Thursday. We did a poll of our members 10 days ago, and the overwhelming majority of our caucus said they're not going to vote on the bipartisan without the recon. So the whole caucus was all in on doing the spinoff of the recon from the spinoff of the bipartisan from the recon over 13 days ago. Yes. If that's not clear enough to you, let me read you a beautiful op-ed today that had the title, Republicans Should Not Sign the Bipartisan. What is the scope of the op-ed? It basically says, why would any person from the GOP sign the bipartisan or get behind the bipartisan? Because the Democrats set you up. The Democrats couldn't pass recon because it was too big, so they gave you, the GOP, the infrastructure, the roads and bridges, so now they can pass all their wonderfulness that you never, as a GOP member, wanted the Democrats to pass in the first place. Was it a setup? I think it was. The higher the top line number is for the recon, the harder it is to pass, says the op-ed. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending into the bipartisan and put it into the bipartisan, the overall number for the recon bill became smaller, easier to pass. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon easier to pass. Did the Democrats set up the GOP? Oh boy, of course they did. They have nothing to gain, the GOP, by blessing a portion of the recon with an ungodly amount of money going out the door, regardless of whether we vote for the bipartisan or not. Yes, sorry. There you go. If you've been on this channel for over a year, you've seen this happen before. When second stimulus, the HEROES Act, was drafted by Nancy Pelosi, it had money in there for you, but a lot of the money in there had nothing to do with COVID. It had to do with salary raises for the Department of Copyrights, salary raises for the Department of Treasury. Remember all my videos about that? And then remember about third stimulus, second. I'm losing track of this. That was still second stimulus. Second stimulus, the CR for stimulus in December. Remember when they did the continuing resolution, and social media was on fire when they found out that the continuing resolution, which is a budget bill for the government, had money in there for foreign countries, Latin American countries, and Americans were just shocked and horrified. This is not a new tactic by either party. It's very commonplace. Where they call a package something, they give it a name. In this case, they called it infrastructure. They gave it a logo. In this case, they called it the American, whatever it was, jobs plan or something. They gave it a backdrop. They had beautiful graphics. The president had those graphics with the roads and bridges and roads and bridges and roads and bridges. And they sold you on why you have to pay for it by raising corporate taxes. Yeah, did you just notice that? The corporate taxes are still being raised, but not for roads and bridges anymore, for your money. For money for you. Recon is being paid for corporate taxes, not for roads and bridges, for money for you. And did you see what else is going on? That suddenly they had used sort of a poster child for what this was going to be, roads and bridges. And now they're like, yeah, we didn't really need those roads and bridges. Put them over there. Put them over there in the standalone bill. We really only care about our recon. And guess what? Now that the roads and bridges are out, the recon can get more ads in, more things added in. So while we're talking about a stimulus check, then we can talk about money for children and parents and seniors and medicine and climate and CARES economy and housing. Suddenly things are growing, and they're growing the correct way. So with that, it's important to see that how they call the vote is the most critical issue, not when they call the vote. Two ways they can call the vote: with the bipartisan at the same time, or with the recon by itself first. And there you go. A lot of fascinating details, and we're far from over. This is certainly, because that op-ed was on a major news site, it was one of the top articles. People are going to get wind of this, and I think they're going to watch this video as well. They're going to get wind of maybe this spinning off the bipartisan was a setup to really just get you the money. And that's why this is wonderful news. As I once said, if Chuck Schumer is angry, if Mitch McConnell is angry, you know you're winning. And Mitch McConnell tonight is very angry. And with that, I wish you to subscribe. 400,000 subscribers on YouTube record. I want you to hit that subscribe button right now. Also, like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes. Consider hitting that like button so you get a side of parsley. And consider becoming a member so you're delivered daily a breakdown once in third, fourth, and fifth stimulus so you get that big money as well. There's going to be a lot of breaking news this weekend, so stay with me all weekend long. I will be here with a full schedule. Coming up next is Overnight's Crypto. Stay on this video. It'll take you automatically into Overnight's Crypto as soon as this video ends. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful evening. And stay with Lalate for more. There we go.